Greenhouse. DawnGreen757.com. Take a moment of silence. I'm dedicating this cooking and baking to the ones who said I wouldn't make it. I got one finger up, other four down basement as I dip in my street like I'm out running naked. I'm a boss.
Good afternoon and welcome to Premiere, where we present local talent on campus right here at Norfolk State University. I'm your host, Monae Hamilton, and today our special guest is Don Green.
Hey. Good.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I just want to start off by asking, where did your name originate from?
Okay. Well, my name originates from my government name, from what my mama calls me. So that's Sheldon, of course, right? And the Dawn portion comes from there. And when you think about green, the color green is prosperity and growth. You know, I'm somebody that every day I try to learn something new. I try to do something new. Try to, put myself in a position to grow every single day. You know, if you think about nature, everything in green in nature grows, right? So when you put it together, Dawn, Sheldon, that dude that's trying to better himself every day.
Awesome.
That's
I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
So where are you from?
I'm a military kid, so I was originally born in San Diego, California, Balboa Hospital. Shout out to the Navy, but I claim Virginia Beach because I've been here since middle school.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm kind of like a free spirit. I kind of just like float in the wind. You know, I like to think of life as a river, right? And I'm that driftwood in the river that goes where the current takes him where he's supposed to go. You know, I kind of like take it easy. You probably see me in the back, in the shadows, witnessing everything in my thoughts, writing about the shenanigans that I see. So I'm kind of like a free spirit, if you like to think of it like that.
All right, I like to think of that. I'm a free spirit as well, so I totally understand.
Absolutely.
When did you begin rapping?
Well, I've been writing short stories and everything since I was a baby. I used to write like these really intricate stories about Halloween and things like that when I was like really younger. But I didn't start rapping seriously until I was 9. You know, I was in New Orleans at the time at Boudreaux Elementary, and I had a couple homies. One of his name was Baby Tigger, and I had a lot of things that I had to say. So he was like, why don't you rap? Why don't you you listen to rap all the time, you listen to music all the time, why don't you do it? Ever since then, here we are now, talking to you on Premiere.
So what influenced you to actually want to become an artist?
Well, for me, it's the power of words. You know, words are something that's very powerful. Right. And I'm a quiet soul, so what's my way of being able to communicate and talk to people is through art. You know, if you think about the term artist, is somebody who specializes in art. You have a biologist, they specialize in biology. A chemist, they specialize in chemistry. You know, artist is somebody that specializes in art. So it's my way of being able to express what I have on my mind, being able to express what I have on my heart to people in a channel that they'll be able to receive it constantly. You know, if you think about a good song is you can play that whenever you want. A good movie, you can watch that whenever you want. You know, so it's my way of being able to communicate with people and talk to people about what I think, how I think the world should go, and how I perceive the world, but on a consistent, everyday type of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
Absolutely.
So, an interesting question I would like to know. I'm sure our viewers would like to know as well.
All right.
How do you usually create a song?
Well, I have a pretty different process. Some days I can just write the words, or some days I have to hear the beat. But I play the ukulele, so I'm kind of learning how to create the melody on the ukulele and then write the words to it. But I find inspiration in a lot of different things. Like sometimes I'll drive on the interstate 264, it'll be a smooth ride, and next thing you know, I'm inspired to write something. So it's not something that's like concrete. I don't have I have to be sitting here and doing this, or I have to be high because I don't smoke or anything like that. So it's not anything like that. It's kind of just the spur of the moment. Sometimes I'm chilling and I got a song. Sometimes I try to write a song and it don't come. You know, it's just that's the beauty of art though. But the thing about art is it comes when it's supposed to come, and if you try to force it, it's not the same. So just whenever it comes to me, if it comes to me, it does, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I keep it moving. You know, it's gonna come. I'm an artist. You know, I'm a specialist in art, so I'll be able to create when it's time to.
Right. I did notice that you said that you began playing the ukulele.
Ukulele.
Is
Yes.
that how you pronounce it? I don't know
Ukulele.
anything about that instrument.
Okay.
So can you inform us about that instrument, what it is, and how did you get into that?
Well, it's a four-string guitar. Typically when you have strings, it's 5 strings, but ukulele is a small one that you carry around, and it's 4 strings, and it's tuned to GCEA. And I started playing because one day I was out of my mind and I went to the store and I bought one. And that's just how it was. I was kicking it with my homie. My homie had one and he let me play it for a little bit. I was like, oh, this is dope. I want to learn how to play something. And I was out of my mind. I went to the store, I bought one. I actually forgot that I bought it. Woke up and it was right there. I was like, oh, well, since I bought it, why not go ahead and play? And I've been playing for a month and a half and I'm pretty nice on it.
Yeah, that's really inspiring.
Absolutely.
And what ways have your music changed from when you first began and compared to today?
Well, that's a good question. I used to write a lot about some pretty down stuff. I was at a pretty down point when I started writing. And now I'm kind of like writing about what's going on in society. Not so much like I don't just focus on that, but it's a lot more intricate than what it used to be. I'm able to hear beats a different way. I'm a drummer as well, so I'm able to write to specific drum patterns and things like that. I listen to rock and roll. I listen to rock and roll more than I listen to hip hop. Like that was my upbringing. It was like Sum 41. Disturbed, Linkin Park. That's what I was listening to growing up, right? Just how did I become a rapper? That's funny, right? But I'm learning how to put not so much of my feelings, but other people's feelings too. The thing about art is you have to be able to tell stories on both sides of the coin. You have to be able to do that. The same way you have to be able to give this person's story, you got to give this person's story, but by giving your story, and it kind of gets like real tricky for me. Like I don't consider myself a rapper. Rappers, they just rap. No disrespect to rappers, but they just rap. Me, I like to think of myself like Picasso. Picasso would draw these really random, really crazy type of paintings, but and the essence of it is be telling 2 different stories at one time. You can hear a song and it affect you completely different than how it affects somebody else, but it's the same song because you're able to tell 2 stories at the same time. So that's how my music is growing. It's not so much focused on just me and my story, but being able to tell other people's stories through my experiences.
That's awesome. That's awesome. If you could compare yourself to any artist, who would it be and why?
Who would I compare myself to? I don't know. I would compare myself to 808s and Heartbreaks, Kanye West. That's who I would compare myself to. I feel like that's Kanye at his prime, right? That's what I feel like. At that time, he created something completely new, completely fresh in 808s. Well, Kid Cudi really made it for real, but Kanye West is the one that brought it to the forefront. So he was somebody, he still is somebody that just didn't care. Like how Kanye felt is what Kanye said, and how I feel is what I say. And some people know how to take it, some people don't know how to take it, but it's the people that know how to take it are the ones that I communicate with. I'm not somebody that, I hold my tongue, but I'm not somebody who has a problem saying what's on my mind. And Kanye is the same way. Kanye is my top 5, one of my top 5. Not at the top, but number 3.
Okay.
And not, because he's somebody that if he has something to say or if he feels a particular way, he says it. And he's able to create the music behind it. I'm able to create the music behind it. He's able to express himself without getting overly intricate in his words. You have lyricists out here, they say they put a bunch of stuff together and it goes completely over your head. Kanye is able to tell his story, make it intricate, make the music behind it, but everybody's able to relate and understand it.
Awesome.
808s and Heartbreak, Kanye. That's my favorite Kanye album. Absolutely.
You said he was number 3. I
Yes.
caught that. So who's number 1?
Number 1 is Eminem.
Eminem.
Random, right?
Yes.
That's my favorite rapper.
Really?
Yes,
Why
yes,
is
indeed.
that?
Because Eminem, at the time, I was going through some things, the personal things, and he was able to tell. He was somebody I was able to relate to. He's somebody that was able to put these crazy combinations of words together, and it all makes sense if you listen deep enough. He was somebody that went against the grain. He was the first real successful white rapper, and he was able to go against the grain. He didn't live the hood story. He was somebody. He lived in the hood, but he was somebody that got bullied in the hood. Like he was somebody that had a terrible relationship with his moms. He was somebody that had a terrible relationship with life in general. With life in general, and he was able to go against the grain of what was popular. At that time, you had to be, selling drugs and doing all types of crazy stuff to be successful in the music industry. Eminem said, "I'm not gonna do that." He, don't get me wrong, he talked what he had to talk. But that's number one. Number two is Joe Budden. Another random one, right? My list is crazy. Most people, Biggie, Tupac, Joe Budden.
Right.
Joe Budden, more specifically Padded Room and Escape Route, Joe Budden. Have you ever heard those? Probably not.
I heard of Joe Budden. I haven't heard of those exact tracks, but I do know of Joe Budden, of course.
Yeah, my senior quote is actually a Joe Budden song. It's "Why try to fit in when you a standout?"
Okay, that came from Joe Budden?
Yes.
Really?
Why try to fit in when you a standout? Well, that's where I heard. I heard it from Joe Budden.
Okay.
But that's my number two. There's another person who's going through some things. He was able to convey his story without sounding the same as everybody else. That's why he has such a cult following. I'm a cult follower of Joe Budden.
Right.
Whatever he puts out, I'm getting, regardless. I have all Joe Budden albums.
That's great.
Number 3 is Kanye. Number 4 is Nas. And number 5 kind of like fluctuates between a lot of different people depending on how I'm feeling at that time.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds good. What do you want your listeners to actually get from your music?
To be yourself.
To be yourself, to be comfortable in your skin, basically.
Be yourself. Be yourself. Why do you have to be what the world wants you to be? Why do you have to be what hip hop wants you to be? You look on TV and you see, all the craziness going around, and you listen to the music and all the craziness going around. Don't get me wrong, I'm not here to judge anybody's life. I'm not here to judge the type of music that you make. I'm not here to do that, but I want you to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and feel comfortable with what you see.
All right.
That's it. A lot of people, I know one of my young boys, I ain't gonna say his name or anything like that. One of my young boys, he rapped and he came and he showed me a song. And he was talking about, I got a Glock and I'm in the trap, I'm doing all this. And I asked him, I was like, do you really do that? Are you really living like that? And he said, nah. So I said, so why are you putting it in your music? Why are you putting that type of energy out if you're not living? Now, there are people who really live that life and that can really talk that talk and that music and really mean it. Got respect for them too. But if you are not doing that yourself, if you cannot look in the mirror and say that this is what I'm living and this is who I am, then why are you doing it? Gary Vee has a quote. There's 2 types of people. You got people who know who they are and people who know who they want to be. And depending on which one you are is depending on how your life is going to be. Do you know who you are and are you working to who you want to be, or are you chasing who you want to be, forgetting who you are? Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes complete sense.
So that's my music, is to be able to look at yourself and say, this is who I am, and I have no problem with it.
Awesome. Another question I have for you is, what are your current thoughts on the rap game right now?
Okay. Let's say this. Art, this is what I'm gonna say. This is how I'm gonna answer this. Art is what you make it. Good music is subjective. To some people, Tupac is the best rapper. To some people, Tupac is the worst rapper. Some people, this is the golden age of hip hop, and the others it's not. Music is subjective. I think that it's changing. It definitely is changing. The focus is on something else. The focus is not so much on the lyrics as opposed to the production. The production nowadays is fantastic. Production is fantastic. The message, it is how you make it. It is what it is. But I think that we are in the middle of a change. Depending on the type of music you listen to, there's a lot of new artists coming out that are crazy, like Futuristic, Isaiah Rashad, just to name a few, who are, Devon Terrell, who are on the come up and ultimately changing the sound and the face of what hip hop is now. The face of hip hop now is terrible as far as the message that's behind it. Not so much the music itself, not so much the people or anything like that, but the message that it's conveying right now is horrible. It is what it is. That's why you got all this craziness going on. But at the end of the day, it is a reflection of the lifestyle that people are living. T.I. said that if you want the violence in the music to change, then clean up the trap and clean up the hood, because music is nothing but a reflection of what's going on right now. So it's people's way of showing what they go through. You know, so I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I think it's reality, and we have to face that. And us as musicians have to be able to change that if that's what we want to do. But if that's not what you want to do, then hey, it is what it is. Right. You know, it's changing. It's like disco. Disco changed, and now we had rock and roll. Mm-hmm. You know, hip hop is changing, and then we had trap. Trap is new. You know, from trap stemmed out EDM, and whatever's coming next is just what's supposed to happen.
Right. Well, how are you different from any other artists in this region?
In this region?
In this region.
Well, because for one, I can play the ukulele.
Yes, I didn't even know how to pronounce that. So I'll definitely give you points on that, definitely.
For one, I could do that. I don't really like to say how different. Like I'm not different from anybody else. At the end of the day, we're all people. You know, we're all artists, and we have all one thing that we're trying to do, and that's success and prosperity. Two things: success and prosperity. So I don't really consider myself to be like, oh, I'm so different because I can do this and do that. We all could do the same thing. Then people that don't write lyrics, they can write lyrics if they want to, and the people that do write lyrics, they one day may wake up and say they don't. Right. You know, so I guess you could say that I'm an artist at the core. You know, I'm very much into my thoughts, and I'm very much into how what I say is going to be perceived from people. Okay. You know, because there are people out here who worship artists, and I'm not saying I'm at worship status, and I'm not. But one day when I get there, I want people to go back and be able to listen to this interview or any interviews that I have, and be able to say the thing that made him different is he stuck to his core, he stuck to who he was, and now he is at the top and still the exact same person that he was when he started.
That's great. How do you balance music and other obligations? Of course, you're a student, mm-hmm. and you love music. Music mm-hmm. is a passion of yours. So how do you balance music in school? And if you do work, how do you balance all of those obligations outside of music and your personal life?
I do it while I'm doing everything else.
Yeah.
While I'm in class, I'm still writing. Paying attention to the teacher. What I'll do sometimes is I'll put the lesson on to record the lesson, but still write music. Or if I'm walking around, I'll walk and play the ukulele. Or if I'm walking around, I'll walk and write a song while I'm doing. I was writing a song now, and my iPhone died on 20%, and this is very upsetting because it keeps doing it. I'm not understanding why. But I go to the gym a lot, so when I'm in the gym, I'll listen to instrumentals, and then next thing I know, all right, cool. Now when I get out the gym, I'm gonna write this. You know, it's just like, it's just balance. It's being able to do what you want to do throughout the day, but not interfering with anything else.
Okay, mm-hmm. So overall, what do you really hope to do with your music? Like, what do you want to do with your sound, with your music? Do you want a message to happen? Do you want to change the world? Do you want to change the young people? Maybe give the older generation a different mindset on the younger generation? Like, what do you really hope is your overall message to do with your music?
I want to reach the people that want to be reached. You know, you can't. Joe Budden said, if you close-minded, then who am I to open it? You know, my goal is, I don't want to be Drake. I don't want to be as big as anybody. I'm a very private person, and I like my privacy. So I don't want to be the next superstar that's all over the place. And I feel like that would stress me out, you know what I'm saying? But I want to reach the people that want to be reached by what I have to talk to, and continuously reach those people. And if I'm able to do music comfortably for the rest of my life, feed my family on it, and, you know, be able to live a healthy life, you know, my kids not worry about anything. They say the staple of a man is the one that provides for his kids. So I just want to be able to do that. I don't need to be the biggest. If it happens, praises. If it doesn't, praises. You know, it's however it's supposed to happen. Like I said, I sit in the river. I'm the driftwood that floats in the river. And if the current takes me to the Pacific, or if it takes me to the Gulf of Mexico, one is bigger than the other, right? If it takes me to where I'm supposed to be is where I'll go.
All right. Well, lastly, is there any questions that you were expecting for me to ask that I didn't and you would like to address?
Well, I do have an EP on Spotify and Tidal and Apple Music and Google Play and Amazon and everywhere else. It's called Grind Season EP. It came out on March 1st, and you can find it on all your online retail stores that do music, or if that's not what you do, stream it on Spotify. But that's about it.
All right. Well, I just want to thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
I'm sure our viewers enjoyed you just as much as I have. We definitely look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Hey.
You definitely gave out all your contact information. That was something I was going to ask you as well. So we definitely know how to get in contact with you and check for upcoming. So thank you again.
Absolutely.
And I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you right here next week at Premiere.
On my crown neck. If you got it, then put it back where you found it. I need a white rum bottle and a black white chick in the hotel room to put it down there. Cause I'm a king. On my crown neck. If you got it, then put it back where you found it. I need a white rum bottle and a black white chick in the hotel room to put it down there. Cause I'm a king.